Hello, I'm Victoria Odagiu and I am the director of the film Alpha and Beta. As I decided to create a film for my project, I wanted very much to fulfill my dream I had as a child to shoot a film about wolves. I learned about their history. I watched films and series about them and also about vampires. I read the books and I put all of my effort to create this short film.
I think it couldn't be made because there was just too many problems going on from really start to finish. I mean, from the beginning of our director's little pitch, it all just went wrong. It you started with getting actors. It took I think a good 2 months or something. Uh, Finally, they ended up getting me, which I reluctantly agreed to. I mean, it looked promising, but you could see from the start like it was not going to turn out well. Um, the concept was good. The concept was great, but she just it was never going to turn out well uh, as a production without a set crew all like from the beginning. I think there's yeah, it was just from start to beginning, start to end, always going to be a problem. I think the biggest problem was when we finally got to recording after surprisingly a year of all this setup. Um, I mean, it's a Disney style plot. You know, you've got it's the same kind of plot you would get in Disney Channel movies. So as a plot, as I said, it was good. I think if it had a better crew, a better director, definitely, better everything, then it would have turned out fine. Yeah, because it's a good concept can turn out either terrible as it did here, or amazing. And it depends. Any concept can be amazing. That's a bit of an out of nowhere question. I mean, I get the relevance. It's a film about werewolves and vampires, but I don't see how that's relevant in an interview. We're having an interview about a about a failed film. It's what's the question for? Um, yeah, I mean, I like werewolves. They're pretty cool. Why are we asking this question? Biggest thing for me would be nothing to do with uh, the start. It was really just how my life went downhill. You know, I had no. The biggest stress for me was not uh, changing into different roles. Was not doing what I'm not qualified to do. It was that I was giving up days of my time because the director had literally lost, like, she did not have a sense of like what human beings are supposed to eat like. I think at one point we spent a whole day on recording from like 9 a.m. till 11 p.m. And for a normal actor, I mean, that is a fine. That's a normal, time. If you include lunch breaks, don't go anywhere near the director. Uh, yeah, the woman who has done this lock her up in jail. My criticism, my advice is get her out of Hollywood, get her out of film industry as a whole, get her into prison for violation of modern slavery laws, for violation of the Geneva Convention, for violation of the of labour laws, child labour laws, adult labour laws, all labour laws, for violation of taxing laws. I think at one point we had a lot of problems with her not paying anyone. So, yeah.
Well, when the film started, I kind of joined the crew halfway through. Like, before this, I didn't really have any real acting experience. Like, I used to work at TK Maxx before this shoot, and I, like paying for stuff like college and uni and stuff like that. And I was sort of approached by the director off the street, and they proposed that I do this role for a film they were planning to do. At first, I thought it was kind of strange, but they seemed legit, and that seemed like a really good deal. So I kind of joined, thinking that they knew what they were doing, but really went downhill. Like, I'm no professional at filmmaking or anything like that. I really just went in trusting the director and their vision and everything, but everything just went downhill really quick. Yeah, I mean, it's about a film about werewolves and vampires, and in this modern age, everyone's about that. Like, I mean, Twilight was successful, and everyone loves that. Honestly, that's when going into this, I honestly thought that was going to be like the new next Twilight, like, like vampires and stuff like that. But yeah, looking back at it now, with how disorganized everything was, like, and hiring someone who was like no experience like me, and you really should have been a big red flag from the beginning. And yeah, I mean, I don't really have a preference. To be honest, I'm not really a big fan of the whole genre of like werewolves and vampires. I'm more of like, I guess you could say, like an action movie person, but I guess I would say werewolves are cool. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I used to dress up as a werewolf during Halloween, so that, I guess a film about werewolves would be cool. The biggest thing, I would have to say that the director didn't really have like a clear script, and there were very few people to like teach me the ways of acting. I mean, there was this one guy who is a really good professional, and for some reason he was also chosen to like help out on the camera crew, even though he has no experience. And I don't know what his story is and why he joined the team, but actually, now that I think about it, I think I heard something about the director firing most of the people on the crew for some other reason that I'm not quite clear on why, but yeah, that was kind of sketchy. But yeah, don't take offers from strangers on the street. As like, don't. If there's anything to learn from here, you should have listened to your parents. Don't talk to strangers. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. Yeah. Anyway, can I leave now?
I think it wasn't able to be made because the director and the producer didn't do enough planning for the project. They wanted to make this big budget film with a small budget and a small crew, and when they decided to go and film, they then realised it wasn't going to work. From that point onwards, everyone was just waiting around the whole time doing nothing. I think if the film was produced at the high standard it was expected to be, like what they wanted, I think it could have been a very good film actually. It's a big genre, the vampire and werewolves. Yeah, I think if it was produced to a very high standard, it could have been very successful. Yeah, there's two films. Dog Soldiers, that's a good film. It's about werewolves. And then you obviously had Teen Wolf, the new film, of course. You know, that's an all-time classic. Yeah. But the biggest struggle was no one knew what they were doing, and not enough planning went into the project. So when everyone got there, it was once again just waiting, and no one was doing anything. The director was just flabbergasted in what was going on. There was so much stress and tension in the air, and just nothing went well. To the audience, nothing, because the audience are there to watch the film.
Ugh, where do I begin? First of all, the equipment was not working whatsoever, no matter how many times we tried to fix it. On top of that, you gave the actors the scripts 2 months in advance, yet they didn't know what the hell they were doing. On top of that, time management. You tell someone to get there at 9, they turn up at 11. Why are you turning up at 11 when I tell you to get there at 9? Just, ugh. Yeah, I definitely think it could have been successful. It had the opportunity. It was written well. It had good actors. It was just things went wrong. And I think if these stuff hadn't have happened, it definitely could have won awards. It could have been big, but unfortunately that did not happen. That's difficult. I would have to say probably vampires. I sometimes do think werewolves movies have been made too many times. Vampires are sometimes underrated, and werewolves, sometimes people don't know how to act, and the CGI is so bad, so I would have to go, in my personal opinion, with vampires. Finding people who knew how to do their jobs. We had to get actors to do cameras and produce as well, or direct. Like, if we hired someone to do a role, they didn't know how to do it, we had to hire people off the street in Starbucks because we just didn't have enough people. And I think if we did have the right people, or we hired people who knew how to do their job properly, this production would have gone perfectly. But unfortunately, that did not happen. To not watch the film, because it's not good. It's not my best work. I've lost my mortgage. My kids have got out of private school. This has damaged my reputation. So do not watch the film, because it's absolute bullcrap. Do not watch the film. That's what I would say. Signal.